All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to this ProDota Cup cast here. That's right, we're casting some tournament matches, baby. And I'm Breaky CPK, going to be your shoutcasting host. So this is, an early tournament series that this is actually going to be the first, I guess you can say, official match that I'm going to be casting here on my personal stream. So looking forward to doing this. If you're tuning into this, thank you first off. I will lead this off 100% with I'm still fresh to the scene, guys. I'm still learning a lot myself, so bear with me as I'm trying to, I'll do my best to give any bit of insight that I may have, as well as do the hype casting part of it. But we're just going to have some fun. That's what we're all about, of course. In the end. So anyways, we got a best of three, I want to say. I think it's the best of three series, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know too much about this event. I just saw that it was happening, and so I figured, why not? Let's cast some. So taking a look at the lineups here, we got Comanche taking on Flipside here. Flipside, definitely an organization that you may recognize, of course, in the esports world in general, and a team here, obviously, in Dota 2. So, I'll say off the bat, I'm not too familiar with the name with the Dota 2 scene, whether or not they're considered a top-tier team or not. I don't believe they are, but again, I'm not 100% sure on that. I could be completely wrong. Anyways, let's go over some lineups here. Let's start with Comanche, of course, on the Radiant side. So, Comanche, we're looking at Ancient Apparition being played by Misha. Juggernaut in the hands of ILTW. Pudge being played by Chu. What? No, something tells me that's not actually the Chu from Heroes of Newerth days, and I believe he's playing some HOTS. But it is kind of interesting to see Chu playing Pudge, because that's definitely something that he would play if he was a Dota 2 player. Okay, I'm being informed it's actually a best-of-1 series, apparently. TMW, Tame My Wild, is what that stands for, apparently, I'm being told. So thank you very much there. On Sand King, Zakow. We'll go with Zakow right here on the Sand King. And then Chappie playing Slark. Chappie, that's another name. Do I know this team? Okay, so that's not actually Chu, is it? It's not, right? And then Chappie here, this is another name that I recognize from a long time ago as well, on both the HON and then now the Dota 2 scene, of course. So these could be they're very likely different ones that I don't know, that they're not the same ones, just happen to have the same names, but it's kind of, now I'm looking at this, interesting stuff. But anyways, Chappie playing the Slark, excuse me, he's in the short lane, as you can see here, as that one role. Going up against the off-lane Faceless Void, you see right off the bat, the pounds coming out with the assistant of Ancient Apparition, the Chilling Touch, and Faceless Void forced to use that leap away quickly, but not much more going to happen after the fact. However, we do see Kunkka is nearby for Flipside as well. Taking a quick look at their side, we got Seto on the Slardar, Vansco playing the support Dazzle, Roger on the roaming Kunkka, TMW playing the Razor, and then Shaklo in the hands of the Faceless Void, as we're talking about here in the off lane. But Kunkka, Faceless Void, interesting stuff going on here at the bottom lane. They're really contesting here in the off lane. You see Slark, that's going to cause some trouble for him. That's the intention, of course, obviously, for Flipside here. As far as the middle matchup goes, we have Razor taking on the Juggernaut here in that middle lane. I would have to think Razor has a fairly good advantage here, right? But again, that's just simply what I would think from just judging initially with my very limited knowledge here. The obvious being the range versus melee matchup, but that link on top of that, pretty powerful. Now, I'm not 100% sure. Does the spin from Juggernaut remove the link? I don't know how. Is it considered physical, or is it actually considered to be a magical here? So, pierces spell immunity. So it looks like it would, actually. So if that's the case, the spin will not help Juggernaut when it comes to that link, actually. So that actually makes sense right there. So apparently they are a Russian team. So yeah, it's definitely not the same Chappie and, of course, Chu that I would recognize here. Anywho, the top lane, the only one that we really haven't talked about too much yet, you see Dazzle. Nice little outfit here, by the way. That's definitely different looking Dazzle. Dazzle in the hands of Vansker once again. Going to do some pulling into the creep wave here as the lane is pushed up, as any good support would do, of course. Him and Slardar. Now, this is a combination that I definitely am familiar with. You talk about minus armor potential. They definitely bring this. Of course, Slardar with that ultimate of his, the amplified damage, as it's so obviously called, and the weave, of course, from Shadow Priest. Let me just call him Shadow Priest in the past on Dazzle right here. Going to try to pressure on the Sand King. He stuns through, but Sonoy chasing in, lands his Impale, and now Zako in some trouble right here. Couple more auto attacks. Yes, the first blood. Going to go in the hands of Dazzle there, and by Impale, I mean Slithering Crush, of course. We'll just try to call that stun from now on right here. But the combo comes through, and they land the kill. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, Kunkka is actually found a little too far up, and Faceless Void, not a lot he can do to assist right there. In fact, Chuno coming over on the Pudge, put it on that rot. Now you see Satchelo, he is good for the time being and actually will be fine in the end, but Pudge, I don't know if he's involved actually in that kill that took place here at the bottom lane, but you see him, he's pretty heavily involved down here so far. Really, it's kind of turned into that tri-lane now, really playing the roaming Pudge down here. Faceless Void, he's not necessarily the most worried, as you see the Torrent going to be landed there, but Faceless Void actually leaping away as Slark goes offensive. Somebody just got killed by neutral creeps. Dazzle did. I'm going to go with intentional? Considering he's over here, I don't see any other reason why not, so let's just say that that was an intentional suicide right there. Coming out from the Dazzle, of course, and there's another neutral creep kill. Okay, so apparently this is a strategy that I'm going to need to get familiar with. Suicide on the neutrals by support heroes. All right. Rune contestation down here. Looks like a double damage rune actually bottled up by Razor at the top side. Meanwhile, he's headed back towards mid. Seems like Razor, oh, sorry, I should be having this out, the last hit and denies. 25 and 13 for Razor currently. Juggernaut H&O. He was in the jungle for a bit right there. So that makes sense. Yeah, I am being informed. I guess it is pretty common considering it just gets you back faster, and the downside really none there. So very little to none, that is. So makes sense. Just it just looks a little funny. You got to admit, all of a sudden suicides on a couple of heroes from either side. But no, I get how that makes sense though. Contention over here, you see the pull coming out from Dazzle and Slardar. Obviously, Sand King doing his best to get a little bit of farm himself. He does have the Burrow Strike away if need be, but we saw earlier a nice little combo, a lot of physical damage presence coming through, so going to have to feel the pain there. Razor, meanwhile, kind of boxing out the Pudge, as well as the Juggernaut, as also Kunkka roams over. So now this is interesting, really turning into a 2 versus 2 here in the middle. They know Kunkka's here. The pings come out. You see Kunkka gets the Observer Ward down in the middle, at least for the vision, but Pudge is sitting right on top. He definitely is aware that he's nearby. In fact, going to go on and turns on that rot right there and lands a hook as well, but the Torrent in return. Roger, can he make his escape out of here? I believe so. The spin's not nearly going to be able to chase enough, and no Omni Slash yet for good old Juggernaut, so unable to make use of that there. You see Slark here, 26 and 4 here at the bottom lane. It seems like his farm is off to a solid start, nearly 900 gold saved up. Faceless Void, though, he's contesting very well, especially considering the start. 25 and 2 for him up here. I would consider that a pretty successful off lane. Oh, I should probably turn the vision thing off here. There we go. Slardar, level 6 now, so he's got that amplified damage. He does go with the Helm of the Iron Will first off here. So, is he going an armlet? Is that a typical thing on the Slardar? It seems like that would make sense, especially as that core Slardar playing that one role at the top lane. I guess you would consider that to be. So I was going to say, what are we going to see him build? And with the way he's saving up, again, having the item that he does, that would make sense. That I assume the portal key is still considered part of the core build for a Slardar. It just seems like the mobility is such a big thing for the hero. Yes, he does have the sprint ability, of course, but being able to initiate with that crush of his and then apply that amplified damage and just start going to town seems pretty damn powerful potential. Applies the amplified damage on to the Sand King here. Now, the obvious thing about this, if he had Sandstorm, it wouldn't be useful in this case, which he actually doesn't, and I guess that probably has to do with them going up against the Slardar, or maybe that's just simply a typical build as well. One of those things I'm kind of contemplating with myself about. This is where having a co-caster would be useful. Bottom lane, Faceless Void. He gets taken out, actually. Slark getting credit for the kill, but it looks like both Pudge and Ancient Apparition, or the Aspiration. Ancient Apparition were involved in this bottom kill down here and able to come through. But I got to say, Razor, he's still doing his Razor damage thing here, farming thing here in the middle lane. The Ring of Aquila already finished, and the 49 and 24 creep farm, obviously leading the way once again. So, did I say portal key? I totally said portal key. God damn it! Blink Dagger, excuse me. There's the armlet purchased by Slardar. So, gets that finish even before treads or anything like that. I assume, especially in this core world, treads is probably going to be the boots of choice. Phase boots is, of course, another option that wouldn't be out of the question to see, I guess, but I would lean towards power treads. We'll see what Mr. Sedboy gets here as they are pressuring now on this top lane. Sand King, he is level 6. No, he's not. He's level 5. He's close to level 6, as there goes the amp damage to get the nice vision behind. They'll also see the apparition behind. So, you know, Flipside pretty confident to push this tower down. I don't think they're going to be able to stop this one here. There we go. Double damage rune bottled up by Juggernaut in the meantime, and actually going to activate it here. So we'll see if he makes use of it further. I guess he's just going to use it to simply farm for the time being. Speaking of phase boots, Kunkka getting some phase boots of his own here. And there's phase boots also finished on Juggernaut, actually. So the boot upgrades in general. This is kind of that timing here as we hit about 8:50, almost 9 minutes into this game now. Power treads finished on Slark as well. You see his start. He's got the farming potential of the Iron Talon, has the Ring of Aquila, and then the power treads to go with that. Faceless Void does have a Chronosphere actually in 6 seconds. It looks like he used it earlier. My guess would be as a defensive purpose. He didn't get a kill earlier, and I know he died himself, so that would be my guess. I unfortunately did not catch it. Camera work still something that I'm going to need to improve on quite a bit over time. Oh, here's a smoke and a seat coming through from the Kunkka, as well as the, who is that with him? That's the Slardar, of course. I see the pinks coming out. They're going to collapse here on the middle lane. Razor diving big time. The apparition definitely going to fall here. Oh, the hook, though! Onto the Slardar. He's now on the back. Will that help him, though, or hurt them? Sedoi? No, it's going to hurt the Sedoi. Indeed, using that arm. They're going to toggle it. It's not going to be enough, though. He will go down in the end. So a 1-for-1 actually in favor of Comanche there. That was huge. A huge hook from Pudge to get the turn kill. That is the potential of a Pudge, though, of course. What is Kunkka thinking? He's going balls to the wall. The shallow grave already used. The Chronosphere is going to come out, though. They catch Sark. That's going to be a big kill. If they can get it, can they get it is the question. He's hidden in there, but it is going to be enough to take him out. Razor standing his ground. The link is applied to the Juggernaut. He knows he needs to get the hell on out of there. Apparition is back, only level 4, so not the longest resurrection, but it's going to cost him his life once again. The spin for the Juggernaut. Trying to get Razor, but no, the heal from Dazzle keeps him alive. And we have our first huge fight here of game number 1 of this best of 1. And it comes out in the long run, I think it's safe to say, in favor, actually, of Flipside over here. And yeah, you see the fight recap there to kind of go with that. The only death for Kunkka, so kind of a suicide right there. I guess before that, Slardar did die as well. It's not taking that into consideration, but still, taking a look at the charts now as well. You see the difference in team net worth. Yeah, going quite a bit amplified in the side of Flipside. And the experience also in their favor. So overall, successful fight for the side of Flipside here. I'm sure they got their fan base tuning in. Now we have 11 minutes into this game here. Comanche, I don't know if they're as popular of a team. Wabitro in chat feels like he's a Comanche fan. Vladimir's offering finished on Faceless Void. Feels like that's something I've seen multiple times now, so I'm going to go and say that's kind of a considered core build, at least in this offlane role. Not necessarily playing the one role, of course. You see Faceless Void, he's roaming on in as the Chronosphere in 50 seconds, so not just yet. It's actually going to go meet up with Slardar. I didn't realize he was down here. And you even see the Eye of the Storm activated by Razor. They'll push the bottom tower in. Dazzle in the front lines over here. I mean, he's got that shallow grave, so he's confident that even if he gets caught, could survive through any onslaught here, being the bait player. Not going to find anyone, though, so good objective control coming out here, actually, on the side of Flipside. Take a look at the vision from either side. The ward, not too bad, actually, from Comanche. A very aggressive ward just placed recently in the Dire jungle. Meanwhile, Roshan is being attempted. Now, they see Dazzle on the outskirts attempted, so they definitely know something's up right here. In fact, Ancient Apparition is going to launch out his ultimate. It's not going to connect, but they are 100% certain whether or not they're able to defend it. I don't think they are. You see the vision from the Dire currently. Not really as much they can see, but as we see, not going to be contested. So this will be an Aegis for Slardar. Okay, yeah, they give the Slardar. Interesting choice, honestly. I feel like Razor would have been a prime candidate for that. He feels like one of those heroes that you know, is going to put himself. Obviously, Slardar is as well, and his reset capability is most certainly there too. But I think you could argue that one. But in the end, they give it to Slardar. He is technically playing that core role at the top lane here. Net worth, though, does favor Razor. 6,900 net worth now in his favor here. You got Slardar at 5,600 currently. So portal key situation. Nope. I mean, Blink Dagger definitely said that. For Sand King, that is. He's still well off. I assume that's going to be next in line. Does have the Tranquil Boots. go with a little bit of farm potential of the Iron Talon here. He's getting collapsed on pretty heavily, though. Is there any Blink Dagger yet? Okay, it looks like he's saving up for the Blink Dagger. Is Sadoi here playing the Slardar? Maybe catch the Sand King? No, not going to go for anything there. I think he just has enough gold for it now, yeah. We'll see if that purchase comes out for Slardar any second now. Good approach to the top tower, though. Oh, Razor, they catch the Torrent's not going to connect, though. Trying to make a catch happen onto the Sand King. Instead, they'll push the secondary tower. Once again, the objectives being won pretty heavily now for Flipside. It really goes off of that fight that took place there in the middle lane there.
Top tower is under attack.
That's really kind of just set the tone right now for Flipside, of course. Soul Ring purchased by Dazzle. But there's that secondary tower pushed in. The first tower at the bottom not even able to be counter-pushed, unfortunately, for Comanche. And you see all the ports. Oh, Chronosphere is ready. They do catch Slark, the target that they wanted. As well as, oh, that is Slark. Okay, there's two in there for a second. The hook out onto him makes it easy for Pudge, at least with the Chronosphere. And can he get out? Yes, he can. So Slark, actually, the escape style hero that he is, he does get out of there. Chu, though, not going to be the same. Gets lifted up by the Torrent, and he will fall. So still a very good play by Pudge right there. He did his job to save his core and ultimately ended up sacrificing his own life. But, hey, you know, a Chronosphere was used. And that's a cooldown. That's a pretty big cooldown to just simply get a Pudge kill in the end. So I think that's something for considering the situation, Comanche can be fairly happy with. But going back to the vision control, you see this offensive ward placed a little bit ago now by the Dire here. Other than that, not too much going on their side as far as Radiant is concerned. Again, still this aggressive ward that we talked about earlier. They're kind of controlling the top side of the map, but another secondary tower being heavily pressured here, man. It just seems like Comanche's not confident taking team fights. I mean, without a Blink Dagger onto the Sand King, I guess that's really what they're waiting on, right? They're waiting on the Blink Dagger for Sand King, and then gonna hope that he can land a big epicenter and follow up from there with the Slark damage, the Juggernaut damage, and whatnot. So a lot easier said than done, though. Ancient Apparition launching out the ultimate, trying to get somebody. Slark will find the Dazzle, but the Shadowy Grave is applied, and that means you can't kill him. Faceless Void, auto attacks, going for the RNG. Not going to come through, though. The Dota gods not in Shachlo's favor here. We'll go Shachlo. Dude's coming out bottom lane. Oh, Pudge is nearby. They're going to see him, though, and now Chu's in trouble. I was going to say, if Plasma Field was to be used there by Razor, Pudge actually could be in trouble, and sure enough, right on cue, basically, and he goes down. There's a Blink Dagger. Oh, however, in the hands of Faceless Void instead of Sand King that we're kind of, you know, rooting for as far as the favorite Comanche, give them a chance to start coming back in this game. It just seems to be getting worse and worse, though, but you do see the net worth to kind of go to my point that I'm making here. I guess it's been a little bit worse in experience, but the net worth is definitely continuing to go on the up and up in favor of Flipside here. Power treads are finished by Slardar, so I was wrong on that earlier. Choosing the base piece possibly. Oh no, actually I did say that, didn't I? Never mind, I was right. Anyways, Omni Slash used by Juggernaut right here. That's only going to cost him his life in the end. As there we go, Razor there to finish him off. See the Dragonlance finished on Razor. The Poots of Travel early on as well allows that strong mobility, especially considering the pace of this game. And the net worth nearly 9,000 gold. For Razor right here. Yeah, I guess I could have checked the rankings to kind of see where these teams rank amongst others. I'm getting a lot of these are tier 2, 3 teams, I guess. Flipside are ranked number 50 and Comanche are number 56. Okay. So they're at least considered somewhat evenly matched then, if that's the case. What's the fight recap there? Oh, that's that. Top lane Razor. Defending the top tower. How many towers have been killed? None. That's another big thing, too. 17.5 minutes in. I mean, it's still fairly earlier on, so it's not like we're kind of still just now approaching the mid-game. As there is the Blink Dagger onto the Sand King, so at least they have that finally. But not having a tower kill, considering the other team has 5 tower kills, that's pretty big. Pudge just misses the hook right there. I don't know, though. I think that's one of those favorable misses. Because if he hooks in Kunkka there, I have a feeling Slardar blinks right in, gets a stun, and Pudge is very likely dead himself. So that's one of those, you know what? If you're Pudge, I meant to do that is what you say. Because if you actually land that hook, you're probably dead yourself. Shadow Blade finished on Slark here. Slark is one of these heroes that I personally still need to get somewhat familiar with. I do know he's a, you know, obviously a high damage potential. He's got the Shadow Dance, which also makes it very difficult to kill as well. So kind of a slippery carry potential hero, I guess you could say. Oh. Merrick's, yeah. Hey, Merrick, so send me your Skype in like a Twitch Whisper or something. And if you're cool with that, I can have you hop on Skype. And you can be there for some insight and some questions I may have. Where was I at? Oh yeah, so Slark here, currently 1,200 gold saved up. Has that Shadow Blade though, as you mentioned, so continues to be that slippery kind of hero. Scan used by the Radiant actually up here on the top lane, seeing if there's anyone hiding. Okay, that's an interesting scan use. As they want to push that top tower. Meanwhile, down here, Slark almost got caught and killed, but the ghost ship even going through is not going to be enough. Got distracted by that scan at the top lane. Razor going to be hooked in. Meanwhile, this is this member actually on him. TMW in trouble. The barrel strike through. If they get this kill, this is going to be huge, actually. Can they get the question? The epicenter used to guarantee it. They do, but at what cost now? Here comes Sada, that Chronosphere to guarantee the turn kills. Chu in trouble. He's definitely going to be falling right here. Will they get Zakao, though? Is the next question in line. Sand King, he has a Pearl Strike in 2 seconds. He's going to be able to get it off. Yes, but it didn't matter. He dies right before, so it ends up being a 2-for-1 exchange, actually. I mean, killing Razor is pretty important at this time. But they did lose their 2 lives as well, so kind of a tough call right there. Let me...
Tower is under attack.
Trying to make sure if I get your whisper here.
Guilty.
Alright, so yeah, Merrick, if you just want to send me your Skype on the Twitch Whisper. Put English in the title also? Oh, is that a thing? Okay, I can do that. Eng. There, English is now in the title. Yasha picked up by Razor. So, despite that death, his farm still leading the way, but he looks Slark's actually farm. In fact, take a look at the net worth after that Razor kill. It's okay, it's still well in favor of Flipside here. However, a little bit of a positive note for the side of Comanche. Not too shabby. You see Pudge trying to set up here for a hook. Roshan's not up, is he? No, he still has a little bit to go.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Sadoy, what is he going for next? Yogurt Club, so my guess would be the BKB. So, yeah, he was, so I guess this makes sense, actually. Yeah, Slaughter, excuse me, playing more of the short lane farm early on, but you get him the initiation tools, the armlet, the portal key, the blink dagger, as well as the BKB, and then Razor really becomes more of the carry, however, as the game progresses on and throughout. So, I would actually... something like an Assault Curious eventually, too, on Slark. Or Slaughter, excuse me. God, having Slark and Slaughter in the same game is brutal. I'm realizing that now. Okay. Oh, that's one. Oh, as much higher quality. Okay, we can use Discord then, too. You know what? You know what, Merrick? So we'll just take care of that after this, man. I'm just doing this whole thing because we need to get that set up and everything. So, anyways, a chase down on a Pudge right there. Take him out. Looks like no Chronosphere even needed, actually. Just simply they were able to chase down maybe the center, too. A little bit distracted there, apologize. But they successfully get the kill on a Pudge. And now 13-6 lead in favor of Flipside. That's also the last outer tower destroyed. You see Sand King counter pushing the top lane. He is going to port back, though. Slark is also coming back. He does have a BKB himself now, so they're definitely going to be looking to pick up a fight right here. Maybe catch somebody? No. Slark was stalking in with that Shadow Blade. Maybe find Dazzle. Oh, they're going to turn this, though. Slark, the bait was real long. He's going to go for the Shadow Dance, go for the kill himself. The Ghost Ship comes out. The Shadowy Creep Dazzle is able to port out in time. No, he's not. He actually does die despite porting back. What a hook from Punch! Oh, my God. He got Razor right there, and Razor will fall. Wow, talk about threading the needle right there. That was impressive from Pudge being in the hands of Chu. The Russian Chu, apparently. And he gets the kill as a result. Wow, that's a big fight for the side of Comanche right there. That's a fight that they needed for sure to actually start climbing back in this game a little bit. Slark, he's going to continue to get more and more farm. He does not have a BKB, though. He's running into a trap. Epicenter is ready, though. The Burrow strike through. Not going to channel the Epicenter, however, as here comes the turn now. Torrent going to be coming out. Sardar, too much damage onto him, though. Meanwhile, the Epicenter is channeled, goes off on a Kunkka in the background. And now Kunkka, he's going to try to run away from this. He does have an armlet himself, trying to use the toggle there to stay alive, doing so for the time being. But the long run not going to happen. And oh my gosh, Comanche, they are right back in here in what is this one-game series. After that fight, you do see the graph once again. It's still in favor of Flipside for sure, but Comanche is getting the steady time back. And look at that, actually. The XP earned is going in favor now of Comanche here on the Radiant side. And Roshan is up. Are they going to attempt it? Not going to risk it just yet. Mantis style, by the way. Onto the Juggernaut here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
As you see the Saint and Yasha, though, finish on a Razor in the meantime. But yeah, that was, God, it's that hook. I mean, if that hook doesn't land, I don't think any of that happens, because with Razor's presence in these fights, you are not nearly as confident at taking them. But because they got the hook, the pick, all of a sudden that allowed them to get more confidence going further, and we saw the end result. So now Roshan, obviously this is where that minus armor really kicks in too. They are amplifying so much damage on a Roshan, and even though they're seen doing this by the side of, well, kinda, I mean they know for sure, Comanche, Ancient Apparition, oh, almost landed the ultimate right there. However, it does not, and in the end, Roshan goes down. I assume it was picked up by, as there's a Shadow Dance used. I assume it was picked up by Razor? No, Slark got it. No, who got it? Faceless Void? Okay, Faceless Void got it. Interesting. Huh. That's a curious choice from you, who, by the way, also now has a Diffusal Blade. Definitely a strong item in general. I don't know if there's anything that they're obviously looking to purge off, or it just simply is just a handy tool in general. Sand King, he's going to have to stun through, trying to get away from Slark here. But here comes the collapse now, the Torrent easy. Oh, he actually gets the Blink Dagger off because of that Yule Scepter. However, the port out's not going to be successful. You can't blame him for trying. Hell of an attempt, the Yule Scepter almost allowing him to do so. But not in the end, so goes down right there. What is that? That's the gem? Okay, so Gem of True Sight now also picked up by Kunkka. So now they have that for the Slark, I would think especially. As well as, you know, the Sandstorm, the Darude. God, that's going to be fun to... I love that there's an ability called Sandstorm. Anyways, distractions. Where was I at? Slark, what is he at now? A Javelin. What are we going to see with that? Javelin. We either got the Monkey King bar or the Skull Basher. I couldn't say for sure what I would be confident seeing. I mean, I think either or is probably pretty good, but... Speaking of armor, man, this Radiant team could definitely use some armor items themselves, and I'm not really seeing much across the board. What would a strong armor item even be, honestly? I'm not, as far as like a sport, obviously you got the Assault Curious eventually, but is there other things that are considered? I guess a mechanism wouldn't be bad here. Their own Vladimir's Offering wouldn't be too shabby, things like that, but unless I'm missing something here, there's really not a whole lot of plus armor items on this side, and yeah, he does go the Skull Basher, okay. So Skull Basher is finished. On to Mr. Slark here. Is he a strength-based hero? No, he has agility. Okay. Because I saw somebody say that was the obvious choice, and maybe if he's a strength-based, that'd make more sense to me. But I guess at the same time, the lockdown, the extra lockdown, he seems like he's kind of that jump hero. Being able to lock down for the solo kills there. Anywho. Sand King, a point booster of his own. But yeah, let's take a look at the charts once again. Yeah, you see the net worth has actually kind of climbed back up right here. And his experience still in the Comanche's favor, actually. Middle lane action. Armor buff is provided by Dazzle here, but no fight going to be happening as they spread out too far. You see Juggernaut getting his own Diffusal Blade, actually. That's going to be good against, like, the putt, or the, wow, what a hook by Punch, by the way. But in comes the Chronosphere, actually. Kunkka's going to stay alive. The Shadow Grave is applied. He's going to stay alive throughout this. Unbelievable. Sand King goes down. The Ghost Ship out as well. Slugger's trying to kill the Kunkka, and he can't. He goes down. Are you kidding me? Between the Armlet, the Dazzle, the Ghost Ship, everything. And GG, well played. They could not kill the raid boss that was Kunkka. And they say, screw it, this game's over. The first game of this best-of-1 series will go to Flipside Tactics. Wow, I mean, that game, that actually got a little bit close. Comanche was starting their comeback, but ultimately, that final fight right there, the hook was beautiful to lead it off, but then obviously the quick Chronosphere coming out for the Faceless Void, the Blink Dagger into the leap, and he was able to close that gap quickly. And then the turn, I mean, the Dazzle getting that Shadowy Grave off as well was huge on top of that. So well played, and Flipside Tactics are victorious. Congratulations to them right there. I don't know what they won or what happened, but View Tournament website, is this is the one in Russian, isn't it? Oh, no. Okay, it's not good. I assume that was EU. Oh, yeah, this is these brackets. This is from, like, September 2nd. What? All right, I have no clue what just happened there, but hey, it was a match of some sort here for the ProDota League, the EU ProDota Cup, I should say, EU ProDota Cup, excuse me, and we do have the victor, that is Flipside. So, congratulations to those guys there. And that's going to do it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry, getting a little distracted there at the end. Once again, BreakyCPK, I was your host here for this cast. And look forward to hearing many more of these broadcasts. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to follow me and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as follow me, of course, on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BreakyCPK, as well as all the social media of Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. So thank you once again for tuning in. Congratulations to Flipside. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be